Alright everybody, let's see this Serbian. He made a video about Albanian tradition. So let's see this Serbian donkey, what he has to say.
A good time. The kids are laughing. The elders are Picture this. You're at your neighbor's son's birthday party. Everyone's having a good time. The kids are laughing. The elders are bragging about their son being a doctor. Everyone's having some good family and friends fun. Your neighbor asks you if you'd like some more Coke. You say, of course. I haven't seen the dentist in a while. Why not? You reach out with your plastic cup. But as he starts pouring, whoops! His hand slips and he pours it all over your pants, making it seem like you peed yourself. Everyone immediately stops what they're doing and starts laughing at you. What do? A. Laugh it off and dry yourself. B. Tell the neighbor to watch it next time. Or C. Kill his eldest son to avenge your honor. Well, if you're from a rural village in the middle of nowhere from one of these three countries, the only rational option is C.
That's not true. This guy is a propagandist, son of a bitch, Serbian, making propaganda about Albanians.
This is known as a blood debt, a part of an infamous tradition known as...
But yeah, blood debt is normal. If you heard one of our people, we heard one of yours. That's how it goes. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, blood for blood.
A blood feud. According to endemic tradition from these regions, if a member of your family is murdered, sexually assaulted, had their land infringed on, or his honor gravely insulted, it gives you the right to kill a member of the offender's family in an effort to seek justice.
This is normal in West Balkan. This is how the system works.
But where did this tradition come from, and how does it still remain alive in Europe today? To understand this, we first have to take a look at the geography. As I mentioned before, the tradition of blood feuds is present mainly in the territories of Montenegro, Albania, and Schrodinger's country known as Kosovo.
Yeah, this guy, he's a son of a bitch Serbian who his mother fuck with a donkey. In these areas, Bosnia, Sanjak, Kosovo and Albania, they have this tradition and it is normal. That is why the Christian son of a bitch Serbians and Croatians, they are afraid like pussies. Because they know there's a lot of receipts who needs to get, you know. So, but yeah, this is normal tradition. If you fuck with one of ours, we fuck with your whole family. What is the problem? Don't fuck. Be nice. Be smiley.
The region is characterized by rugged tall mountains and thick forests. In society building terms, playing on hardcore difficulty. Growing food is quite...
Yes, brother. There, you know what? There, you know how you get water? You dig, you find somewhere you can dig a hole. And in the winter you fill the hole with water. And if you're lucky, you have water for the rest of the year. If you're not lucky, shit.
Difficult due to most of the soil lying on hard rock. Developing infrastructure is also a major pain in the keister. Going from one village to a nearby town would be no walk in the park, but rather the equivalent of your dad's journey from home to school.
Yeah, you can hear he's not from there. He's a little puss boy from a city. Bro, this is normal life. You put on good clothes, you go in the mountains, winter, you have snow. Brother, you get lost in the snow.
Such, the people who settled in these highly mountainous regions of the Balkans, known as the Dinaric Alps, had to develop certain ways of life if they were to survive. One such adaptation was a clan-based society. Families were tightly knit together, acting as a unit rather than...
This is a wrong definition. This is the nuclear family. And of course, a nuclear family is part of a bigger family construction, which is a clan.
And a group of individuals. Each family member was tasked with a role to ensure their family's survival. In medieval times, women were allocated to working the fields and producing food, while the men were brought up to be.
That's not true. The men worked the fields, but the women helped also in the background with other things, like after they put the bundles together or different things, but they were not out in cutting the field. That's not true. This guy don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Be warriors. As resources were scarce, often different families would go to war with one another, raiding each other's clans for food and riches. If they weren't fighting each other, they'd engage in banditry.
Nah, usually it was like somebody stole somebody's something or something, and it escalates. That's normal. Or in wartime, somebody kills somebody's family member, and that will get remembered even after the wartime, Just because people hide behind armies and they say, oh, it was a national project. Bro, forget that shit, bro. Receipts.
Against the Ottomans, Venetians, and other would-be invaders like the Austrians. Being hard to reach, it was difficult for any kingdom or empire to enforce its laws and customs upon the people living here, which in turn spawned a unique tribal government and way of life in the Dinaric Alps, where the local chiefs were responsible for the protection of their people and the enforcement.
This guy, he don't know what he's talking about. This isn't local chiefs, it's the clan head. The head of the clan.
Enforcement of justice. As there were many clans, there were many different variations of local laws. However, in the 15th century, a standardized code of law was codified.
That's not true. Under the Ottoman Empire, the code was pretty much a Muslim code. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. And it's normal in Islam, it's an eye for eye, If I want the eye, if you took one of my eyes, I got the right to your eye. That's pretty much it. So it's normal. It's not something it's normal. You have it in many traditions, many religions. This guy, he's just a propagandist who has a problem with Albanians because the Albanians, they pushed the shit in Kosovo, and now they're crying like bitches.
In northern and central Albania.
The Serbians.
Known as the Kanun, the code was created by an Albanian noble, Leke Dugagini, who compiled centuries of...
Bro, we even had blood feuds even before the Ottomans, even before that. Bro, we can go long way back with the blood feuds. It's not something new, some new invention. This guy don't know shit about West Balkan. That's just showing he's probably just a gypsy.
Oral judicial code into a single one. The Kanun consisted of 12 books and over 1,200 articles, and dictated laws regarding family, property, honor, hospitality, and everything and anything in between. But most importantly, it established how to deal with any would-be Dexters. If someone killed someone else, justice was to be taken into the community's hands. Murdering a person wasn't seen as a crime between individuals, but a crime between clans, meaning that the entire murderer's family would be held responsible. To avenge this crime, there were three options. The perpetrator's family could pay money to the family of the deceased, securing forgiveness from the church, and the deceased's family murdering a member of the killer's family. In most cases, the victim's family would opt for option number 3. But it wasn't just as simple as showing up to their house, wrapping them up in plastic, and giving them some monologue while showing them a picture of the deceased. No. There were rules. First and foremost, you could only kill a male member of the family. Girls had cooties, so they were off limits. Secondly, the sacrificial lamb had to be over 18. If you can't kill kids in Skyrim, you can't kill them in Albania. And thirdly, you can't kill them in their own home. You wanna play serial killer? Then you gotta follow them with your car and kill them in a gas station bathroom like one. But violence isn't always the answer. Talking things out can prevent needless bloodshed between neighbors. But what if they...
Yeah, you can lure them out with different things, get their friends to call them, get some girls to call them. Right, it's easy. But this is normal, and this is how it's supposed to be. A family should stick together no matter what. If one of us get hurt, all of us get hurt. Not like in the Americans in the West. They kill, the family members get killed, they moan for a little bit, and after that they go and cash the life insurance and everybody happy. Different mentality.
Don't speak the same language as you. Well, that's where FluentU comes in. FluentU is an app and website that makes real video. Stuff you'd actually just hover over. It's incredible extension. I'm able to watch FluentU support, perfect for anyone wishing to fulfill their Balkan destiny, and Italian, making it perfect for anyone wishing to fulfill their Balkan destiny. Currently, FluentU supports 10 languages, including Russian, German, and Italian, making it perfect for anyone wishing to fulfill their Balkan native really home quizzes. It's available 14-day language and more. It's a true FluentU. He and everyone around him thought that it seemed reasonable. They patted him on the back, gave him the medieval Albanian equivalent of the Nobel's Peace Prize, and declared a new era of peace and prosperity. But Dukagjini made a fatal mistake with the Kanun. He didn't f***ing write it down. Since its conception, the Kanun's laws were transmitted orally, which, let's be real, in a mountainous region that's hard to reach by outsiders is a horrible decision. Essentially, the clans played a giant game of telephone with their most important laws. This went on for nearly 5 centuries, until finally some guy thought to himself in the 20th century, hey, maybe we should write this down. Over time, this led to the interpretation of the Kanun to change. For example, the killing of minors and within one's home became practiced even though originally it wasn't deemed as fair game. Secondly, Dukagjini overlooked another crucial detail. Balkaners would rather spend eternity being waterboarded in Guantanamo than take personal responsibility. Okay, that...
No. Only Serbians and Croatians don't take responsibility for their actions.
That's not even a Balkan thing, but a general people thing. But in a region where everyone sees themselves as a perpetual victim of circumstance and their neighbors as the epitome of Satan himself, this had
Perfect picture of Serbian and Croatian.
Catastrophic consequences. Let's say Ethan from the Klein family decides one stormy night to kill Hassan of the Piker family. Hassan was talking shit, probably said something like his chess skills were ass, so Ethan waited in an alley behind a pub and stabbed him 5 times. Hassan's brother was at the pub and saw a glance of Ethan's face, so the Piker family now has a blood debt from the Klein family. But here's the problem. Ethan's clan vouches for him, saying he'd never hurt a fly and deny he killed Hassan. The Pikers don't care.
Who the fuck cares? He fucking killed Hassan. Now he has to pay. Or somebody else.
And catch one of the clients lacking in the street and bonk him on the head with a club until his brain becomes porridge. In the minds of the Pikers, the blood feud has been settled. They killed one of the perpetrators and it's over. But...
No, maybe. After that, there have to be communication to be sure that everything is okay now. If no communication, that means still bad blood.
That's not the case. As the Kleins believe they never wronged the Pikers, they now see that their family owes them a blood debt. So, what do? They kill one of the Pikers. As a result, blood feuds became a generation-spanning occurrence. Entire families spent generations killing each other due to the belief someone centuries ago wronged their clan. A lot of the time, the original...
Yeah, this is normal. Some clans even changed the last names, and there's a lot of history behind that.
Reason would be forgotten, with the two clans just going at each other for ages. This gruesome tradition prevailed for centuries up until the 20th century. Although communism has brought many negatives, it did bring some positives as well. One of those being the elimination of blood feuds. Thanks to the authoritarian rules of Enver Hoxha and Tito, and the ruthless punishments for any small infringement of the law, let alone murder, blood feuds vanished. Life imprisonment in a gulag whilst undergoing famine.
Yeah, it was only the government who was able to do blood feuds after that. Fuck this idiot, he's a fucking propagandist.
And torture didn't seem worth it just to enact revenge on some guy whose great-great-great-great-grand.
I don't give a fuck. Brother, if I want my fucking revenge, I don't give a fuck if I have to go to prison for the rest of my life. Then I know I can go glad to the grave knowing I got my revenge. Who the fuck cares about prison? This guy don't know fucking shit what he's talking about. Honor is honor. Prison, who the fuck cares?
Grandpa shot yours. When socialism fell, so did the strict rule of law with it. With the states going into disarray, many returned to their old ways of life before communism was imposed onto them, praying to long-forgotten gods, opening up their own shops, and most importantly, settling scores with their neighbors. It also didn't help that Yugoslavia erupted into an absolute shit show in the 90s, which additionally made policing these rural areas even more difficult.
Bruh, I've heard of an Albanian, bruh. You know what he did? The Serbians killed his family. So this guy, he went out, he killed, I don't know how many, 20 Serbian military men. Bruh, he fucked them up, or was it policemen? He fucked all of them up, bruh. That guy, he's a legend.
In an effort to escape this chaos, those with a blood debt sought to leave their home countries and seek refuge in the Americas and Western Europe. But clans that were owed blood would often send one of their own to their new country to track them down and settle the.
Of course, this is normal. Hey, bro, we got people all over the world. Bro, this.
Score, which made blood feuds even spill over into America for a bit. After the transition.
Listen, me, I'm not Albanian. I'm from Bosnia, but this is normal tradition we have. This is normal customs. If you are original native from Balkan, West Balkan, this is normal customs.
Period was over and the re-establishment of state law enforcement, blood feud incidents decreased. In 1970, the region of Montenegro known as Malaysia, the Albanian community officially made an agreement that declared this tradition over. Other local communities in Albania and Kosovo also had several gatherings where community leaders sought to disband this practice. Church leaders and mediators actively seek to discourage feuds. Some of their methods include bringing the would-be victim to the indebted families and asking the head to murder him then and there as he's looking into his eyes. Another one is to bring a baby from the indebted family, put it on its head in front of the house. In that position, if left unturned, the child would die in 2 minutes due to suffocation. Although these methods seem gruesome, they have been quite effective with the families being able to relinquish the debt when faced with personal responsibility for an innocent's life. Unfortunately, although there are much fewer incidents than before, this ancient tradition still persists to this day, as it's difficult to gather statistics on the practice of this tradition due to occurring in mainly rural, hard-to-reach areas amongst a population mistrustful of government institutions. Estimates of those affected today vary. On the higher end, it is believed that there are over 500 families in northern Albania that are in a blood feud, while lower estimates say less than 100. Its persistence has led to the creation of a severely disenfranchised class of society. Families owing a blood debt live in isolation. The men in the family are unable to work or leave the house due to the threat of being murdered. Thus, the women are tasked as the primary breadwinners. But As jobs are limited in rural areas, what they are able to earn is not enough to support an entire family, leading to these families living in severe poverty. The children of feuding families are the most affected. Although, according to the original declaration of the Kanun, kids should be off limits in these killings, the law over the centuries has been corrupted, making male children valid targets. As such, there are many young boys that are forced to live their entire childhood in their own houses. Because if they'd potentially step out to go to school or play with the other neighborhood kids, they run the risk of being killed to settle the feud. Being unable to get an education and growing up in poverty, kids that grew up in these conditions often turn to crime in an effort to sustain themselves, which just reinforces this nasty cycle. But luckily, this...
Nah, kids are off limits. But adults, different type. It's normal in a blood feud. But listen, a blood feud, it's about when somebody don't take responsibility for what happened, you know? A blood feud doesn't start from accident. That's just weird. It can, but in majority cases, it's not from accident. It's either from somebody playing gangster and doing something dumb and hurting somebody, or stealing and things escalating, but usually a blood feud is not just something you start out of nothing, and usually it's because people don't take responsibility for their actions. That's how you start up a blood feud.
Tradition has been on a steady decline. Many NGOs, communities, and government institutions have actively been working on eradicating this tradition. Many rural communities where this ancient law was prevalent have adopted the belief that state punishment and prosecution of the perpetrator is settling the blood debt. Extradition treaties between Albania and the West have also helped in disbanding blood feuds, as perpetrators will be held responsible abroad for their crime as well. And hopefully, in the near future, this tradition will be eradicated completely.
Hell no. Hell no, bro. That tradition... Bro, West Balkan, this is normal tradition. And I can't see what's wrong with it. Of course, if somebody hurt your family, somebody wrongs your family, and of course you have the right to defend yourself and take the revenge. I don't understand that. You can't take revenge. In my mentality, I don't accept this. Of course you have the right for revenge. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck should the person even do something if they're not expecting you to come back? You understand what I mean? So yeah. And I don't know, this Serbian guy, he can suck a dick, bro. Fuck him. Honestly. And yeah. I don't know even to what to say to the video. Basic video, bullshit video.